here to start the race. Last handicap for the year. Next week is the 47th East Trophy race. Stop talking and listen. There's a separate 15-lap handicap for B and C grade.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
5, 4, 3.
Welcome to Week 8, Tuesday night Heffron. The plan for tonight is to have an espresso edition, so a kind of a shortened version, which I'm sure by the time we end up breaking up this week, talking about next week's cycling monument, it will in fact be one of our longest editions ever. But to do that, we are joined by Father Christmas himself, John Sunde. Good evening, John.
Ho, ho, ho. Hey, Alexi. Hi, Vaughan.
And Vaughan,
G'day,
one
mate.
of our hard-working elves in the back there. Good evening, Vaughan. Thank you for joining us once again.
Hello, lads. Very excited. Let's get amongst it.
That's right. And unfortunately, Paul Craft, being the hard-working school teacher that he is busy teaching our future generations, and he is unable to join us. But we know he'll be watching and keeping us close to his heart. So, Paul, we are always thinking of you on a daily basis, and Heffron is so much better when you are there. Not saying that you guys are doing a bad job, but we all love the atmosphere and the enjoyment that Paul Craft brings. And with that, we saw Crafty was back, and we should almost begin week 8 with the fact that for the first time perhaps ever, we saw Paul Craft pin on a number for Tuesday night Heffron. And I think the best part was he backed it up. He went straight to the front and did some work, rolled some turns, and showed he's not just all talk.
He's trying to get himself on his own podcast. That's what he's trying to do. It's a bit like wearing fluoro orange bibs, fluoro orange jersey, fluoro orange socks, fluoro orange helmet, and fluoro orange shoes.
He even made the social media attack early on after about 3 or 4 laps. He wandered off the front by himself, and I just thought, look at this. Anything for a bit of media attention. So what a great addition. I mean,
it wasn't even a wander, but either like it was a big, massive gear bombing off the front and just rode straight off the front. No cheeky attack on the front already. I'm just going to put more power down, and the Crafty cuts just cut a huge gap. Off straight. It was unreal. Loved it.
And he was one of the many of the kind of almost first timers on Tuesday night, because it was a huge field. John, how many riders were we looking at on Tuesday night?
It was massive. Like, that was a real surprise. We had, I think, 86, you had 120 plus riders. And I think a bit of that was the after effect of the intermittent weather the previous Tuesday when we had a few no-shows. But Tuesday night, sunny, nice, strong, fresh southeasterly blowing headwind down the track. And if you have a look at the grade finishes on the Facebook page, it says we had 35 in A grade and 43 each in B and C grade. Yeah. So big numbers and great to see.
Fantastic, safe racing.
5 women on the start line too. 3 or 4 of whom finished, which was great to see.
And so with our with our shortened edition, I should say, we pretty much should go straight down to it. A grade, were they always going to win with such a massive group, or was there ever any doubt on the sidelines? What was going on? What was the thinking of the crowd and the commentators mid-race?
They had a good start.
I'll say that after last week, you go, John.
I was just going to say they had a good start, but their numbers more than doubled. I mean, you got to remember last week they had 13 or 14. This week they had 35. And welcome to A grade too, Rhino Keith, and last week's overall winner, Adrian Pellegrin. Talk about getting in amongst it and heading straight to the front. Rhino, take a bow. Just going for it.
Oh, Chapo. Yeah, I agree, John. He was, I've got him written down on my thing here, like straight, man, he's an impressive athlete, that man. But the thing I was going to say is, like B grade, after last week, they got their stuff together. They, set a precedent early, and and the Pello Grin got up for the win because B grade just works so beautifully together. Week later, absolute Muppet Town again. You had 3 breakaways in B grade in the first 7 laps, and the lap times show it. Like, they were doing well. They weren't losing too much for the first 3 or 4, and then I think the first one was big Richard White blasted down the straight with about 800 watts. He opened up a huge gap, and then the next lap, 14 seconds, they lost away grade, and then 2 laps later, it was 2 of my boys, the 2 Robs, Pommy Rob and bloody Aussie Rob, and Big Greg Rule. Those 3 guys are off the front. I'm like, what are you doing? And sure enough, the next lap they lost 20 seconds after they got caught, because obviously then no one rolled through. And so B grade, I think, lost it middle all the way through the race.
I thought C grade went really well. Was that the case in the bunch, Alexi?
Look, I think there are a number of great riders, and that's a lovely segue. And I thought on the night there was a new rider, and was probably one of the best standout performances I've seen from a first-time rider, and her name was Hannah Gianatti, I believe.
Hannah did so well.
Wow. What a first-up ride. Like, normally people kind of come along, they'll sit. She was rolling turns. There were people who were sitting back, not wanting to come through from fifth wheel. She was just rolling up straight up. Early on in the race, because you guys seem to give C grade a very generous handicap. I hadn't even clipped in, and they were already rolling off, chasing on. But she was up there at the front the whole time, working away. Wow. I would say one of the best debuts I have seen in a number of years from a rider.
Well done.
Hannah Jeanette was.
Well
and then you had the superb performance of, is it Dan or is it Pat Bleasel?
Oh, Pat. Well, we've got to talk about Pat. So C grade have a good start. They work well together, some standout rides. And then, of course, let's not forget we had Rocket Rod Rodrigo Nataro back, and he's a good C grade organizer. Everything's moving along smoothly. C grade are holding their own. And then what is it? 4 to go off the front. Pat Bleasel, like a rocket. And I was down the end of the straight when he was away, and he was giving it everything. And he had A grade and B grade breathing down his neck on that bell lap, but he was giving it a red hot go.
That moustache was like totally just dripping of sweat as he came. I was up on the hill doing the commentary up on the hill. But he went away with his mate, he told me afterwards. I can't remember the other guy he went away with first.
I think it was a guy in orange bibs and on a blue Factor, I think, who launched himself initially.
I heard that. I saw
that crazy, mate. I think, well, what was the deal with the lap counter on Tuesday night? It wasn't working for half the race. I've gone off, and then I was like, shit, there's 7 laps to go. Really thought there's 4 left. So maybe if we would have timed it a little bit better with Pat, maybe some of the other riders we thought would join us did. Because I got about 500 meters with the guy, and I was like, I'm done. Good luck to you, my good man.
Yeah.
And then, but wow, didn't he hold it? That's fantastic.
No, that was a standout ride. I tell you what, if Pat had held out that last lap and won that race, wow. That's the sort of performance we'd be talking about for many, many years.
His legs are still burning now. Was that good enough to go? Was that his last C grade race?
Possibly. Possibly, yeah.
That's 4 laps. He held B grade, to crying out loud.
Yeah. He rode fantastic. And I look, I think it was a credit. I think it was one of those races C grade weren't going to win. There was, a bit of umming and ahhing. Some riders really got to decide if they're coming up to fifth wheel. You got to keep going up. It's just killing everyone else there. It's not about the riders at the back who, because they are flying. Everyone is going along, and I'm still picking them to beat B grade next week in the monument. But Pat, I think he was a standout rider, and that was super impressive. But really, Hannah as well rode very well. We also had Lily Fasan, and there was also the other young lady,
Caitlin Rose.
Yep. She's getting better every week.
Caitlin finished on Tuesday night, and she hadn't done that in a while. So, great ride by her. In fact, we had 3 women finishers. Kira was first across the line, coming in just behind B grade. Another good, strong ride by her. And second was in the women's Nicole Wilson.
Right.
Followed by Caitlin and
Hannah would have obviously finished as well.
then Hannah across
Yeah.
the line, and then also Nicole Lowe. So yeah, so we had 6 women on the start line, 5 of whom finished. So
That's
it
great.
was a great night for the girls.
It must have been a weird night because we even saw Kurt Eather going solo.
Chicken.
Yeah, well, Kurt with 2 to go took off in pursuit of Pat, and yeah, I thought, wow, he obviously wants a chicken voucher.
Yeah, I mean, look, you kind of see it in Ollie's video and so forth, but like the fact that he went off the front, I think for a good lap or so, gets caught, still has that ability to recover and punch it out and blow everyone's doors off when it comes to the sprint.
What amazed me in Ollie's video when they hit the straight, they're 200 meters down the straight. You can see Kurt way over on the right-hand side in the gutter up against the grass verge. And he's kind of almost boxed in. And at that point, you would think, oh, there's no way. There's no. And then 2 frames later, on Ollie's video, you can see him just take off the front, and that's the last anyone ever sees of them. So, yeah, another good ride by Kurt. So that's 4 outright wins for Kurt from the 8 handicap races we've had in this first part of the season. Second on Tuesday night overall, also from A grade, was the only man the first man to turn back the clock at Heffron for a number of years, Brad Mills.
Yeah. I think he acknowledged it in our post-race interview.
That he found yourself on the podium plenty of times these last couple of weeks. I wouldn't have written you off, but you're doing pretty bloody well these last couple of weeks. How has the training been going, and how have you found yourself for these last couple of sprints, really getting up the front there and contesting the wins?
I'm in the form of my life, and I don't know where it came from. I have been hitting the gym pretty hard though, so probably that. There's no way to Kurt, but yeah, I was unlucky to get on his wheel at the end, and he got boxed in, and that helped me because he just couldn't open up his sprint that quick, too early. Also just put a 55 training on the bike, so I think that's also helping.
He's riding stronger than he almost ever has in his life, and wow, it shows.
Yeah.
Good ride by Ollie Luddenham. Ollie and his bro were both down there, although his brother Tom wasn't racing. But Ollie's a dark horse. He just turns up once every so. He's a bit like the Critters. You never know what his form's going to be like. So, bit of a surprise.
Big shout out to Willie Heff. It's his birthday today.
There you go.
So is he 16 yet?
I think he's 13, isn't he?
13, 4 facial hairs.
The only guy that's just turned 20 and still looks like he's 13.
It was a very good ride by Will Heffernan, though. He found
another good ride by him.
So he finished 5th, Luke Britton 6th, Ben Coates was 7th, and then perhaps one of his lowest finishes in quite a period of time, Jack Bennett.
Yeah, 8th. I thought that too when I did the results. Because Jack is always very proud of the fact that as the season wears on, even on the nights that A grade maybe don't get up, he's never out of the top 3. But that claim's out the window at the moment. But you never know what's going to happen next week. But another good ride on the night, I think he was in the top 10, a B grade winner, Andre Dubier. Now, remember, he pushed Adrian Pellegrin all the way to the line the previous week, second overall and first B grade. However, that was a little bit of fortuitous luck on his part because you would have noticed in the finish on Tuesday night, 500 meters out, Archie Spillman took a little bit of a spill. He had his head down for just a moment lapse of concentration, runs into the back of Tommy Bolton's wheel and hits the deck. Unfortunately, he didn't do it. It took some skin off, not much damage. But Archie was up for the B grade win.
Mate, I like the way that you obviously run those measurements, John. You've obviously a real ladies' man because you said with 500 to go, I think it was about 50 meters. But look, let's just assume that you're always judging the size of things overestimating there. It was probably even
it was 250. It was 250.
It would have been 25 meters from the finish.
No, it wasn't 25. It was down by the Ambos.
Okay,
so I know how far
obviously a shower, not just there.
Archie was denied because he sent me a message later to say, "Oh, sorry about that little mishap. I would have won." And can I still get my place? And I said, I sent him a message back to say, "Yeah, you would have. You got first, didn't you?" And he claimed that he did. And then when I actually saw the video and looked at the results, he would have got first. But sorry, Archie, we gave you a place overall, but you don't get the grade win. That went to Andre.
I won if we stopped with 7 laps to go.
Yeah, and right behind Andre, someone who this season has not been off the podium in C grade or B grade, Luca Zucchiardi, second in B. I mean, he's taken a leaf out of Jack's book. And look at who's in third this week. Riyadh. Riyadh turns up 10-6. Oh, can I race? I just got here. I says, yeah, good luck with that, bro. So try and enter on time, guys.
And what about the C grade winner?
The Australian national hide then go seek champion, Harvey Challinor.
Yeah, fantastic.
Second?
Yeah. So
second.
His father. His father, Anthony. And so not only has he got his father racing, and actually Ant-Man was a little bit disappointed he got beaten by his son. He was giving it a good shake. In fact, both of them were riding really well and quite aggressively during the race. But Harvey, and this is just upping our viewership
just
even
before
more.
Christmas. I mean, as well, his dad was like, couldn't he have held on at least till another year?
But Harvey's mum was down there again. So good to see Aileen there. But Aileen had her mother. So Harvey's grandmother was down there. So it's a real family affair for the Challinors on Tuesday night. And then also a quick shout out to Joel Zerb, in the mix again. And Michael Stanton in fourth across the line on C grade.
Yeah, so he's gonna get there. Just has to. But do you think Anthony went home and said to Harvey, "I'll let you win. 100%. I could have won, but I'll let you win." Just you got to keep that seed. You got to keep that seed of doubt. Dad, I beat you. No,
I reckon the conversation might have been about let's pull our winnings and see how much we've got.
So with that, rider.
Just a quick one from C grade. Like Luke Prober it's what I'm finding very funny is again did a lot of work, and I'm going to say, Luke, we get it, mate. We bagged you out once. You're doing enough work. Maybe do a little bit less work, and you'll be closer to the pointy end by the end of the bike race.
No, you can't say that because at this stage, you can't say that to any C grader because we're still not at the front of the race.
No,
when the lap counts. Yeah. So we need a few more people just bearing a little bit more. But Stewie said though he's riding very, very well. But of course, when it comes to riding very, very, very well, we get to the Char Grill Charlie's rider of the week. And wow, what an addition.
I'm stuck. Someone go first.
Vaughan?
Well, I'll go first. I was going to say Crafty because he comes back, he goes away, and he comes back and he's quite fit, obviously, because, man, he was pulling massive turns, but he cannot go past Eather. Goes off the front, tries to win it on his own, gets caught with 2 laps to go, takes a couple of deep breaths. What you said earlier in the show, John, where he got boxed in on the right-hand side, looked like he was like completely stopped pedaling, and then 3 frames later, he was just like, "Ow!" Like, amazing win. Eather is my choice for Chargill's Charlie.
I'll go next, and I have to agree with you, Vaughan. Some standout rides across all 3 grades on a great night's racing. Previously mentioned young Hannah, first time at Heffron, and a petite frame for a young girl, but mixing it in there with the best. Andre Dubier's solid win in B grade. But I thought what Kurt did was, and you reflect on the season, 8 races, he's won 4 of them outright. Yeah, how do you do that? I mean, I don't know. The only other person I know that ever did that was a guy called Spurge. We called him King. So in my race report, I just went with a simple headline, King Kurt. And, so take a bow, Kurt. You're the king, bro.
I will make that a consensus of 3 from 3. Kurt, look, the fact that he went off on the attack, proving the power of the podcast and wanting to.
Yeah, well, I kind of just wanted to keep the pace on, like, with a few to go, and everyone sat up, so I just went to the front. No one followed my wheel and ended up off the front, and I was like, I don't really want to be here, but I'll give it a go. And then I felt good until I came down the front straight and there was a bit of a headwind, and I was like, oh, that could be a bit of a push. So I kind of sat up around the back and waited for him to catch me, and then I slotted in and, yeah, found my way through for the finish.
And wanting to get our recognition, which I think he thinks is, that's truly up there. And I think giving him the Char Grill Charlie's voucher will certainly justify his name as King Kurt this season. But I just wanted to add before that was Hannah Giganti's ride there, week one, again, was amazing. Like her confidence there in the bunch and the amount of work she was one of the most impressive first up rides. And also to say Caitlin Rose as well, getting that third place, but can't take it away from King Kurt. He's shown he can do it at all now. So he is our Char Grill Charlie's rider of the week. So spend it wisely.
Kurt. He's got some drumstick to your bro.
Exactly. His brothers go, hey, how about me? All that work I do, just never, Imagine those two. It's, Jesus's brother Frank, or whatever it was there on Christmas Day. Give me some respect as well. They're nailing as well. Promotions, John? Anyway, I mean, obviously we mentioned the potential for a C grader. I'll actually throw a wild one in. He's going to hate me for saying this, and it's going to think it's a bit cruel, but I was going to say a demotion can go from Justin Diddums in B grade. He can come back and ride C grade.
I think you'll find.
He's going to blame, I dropped my chain.
No, he's not actually, because he said that to me almost before the race. So I think Justin's most probably self-demoted himself and quite happily so. Yeah. But I think that was Justin's first ride this season. And,
yes, it was his second week back. He said he was riding early. He dropped a chain and then couldn't chase back on. But then he seemed very comfortable in C grade. So I think that'll be a welcome place there.
So expect a few movements between C and B this week, because remember that next Tuesday night is the 47th annual East Trophy race. It's a 20-lap scratch race for A grade and invited sort of B1 type riders.
So why don't we start with that, John? So if you're a B grader and you'd like to race in the premier race of the night, the first morning of the season, the trophy race, how does that work?
Your choice.
How were you able to do that?
Knock yourself out into A grade or the 20-lap race on Bunchip.
Okay, so in other words, pre-enter. Don't wait till the night, but when you're on Bunchip,
do not turn up at 10 to 6. Same goes for you, Edwin.
Yep. And I think the other important thing to point out there is that if you are, it doesn't mean that you're locked into racing A grade for the rest of the season. So don't think, I'm stepping up for this. This is purely the one-off race.
It's your chance.
And also to see.
That's right. It's a different type of intensity. So it's not a handicap for A grade. It's a scratch race. So they don't start as aggressively or as intense as you would on a normal Tuesday night handicap. And then there's the separate 15-lap race for B and C grade. I was just looking at last year's results and see that C grade had stayed away. And this is C grade's night next Tuesday night for the support handicap. Who was it? Alex Henderson won last year, and
and I think there's a clear reason for that why C grade are in with such a good chance is because it's very much they're racing a weakened B grade field. So it's still the normal handicap. B have to catch C, get to the front, win the race. But for C grade, it's a weakened B grade chasing you. So it's if you can work together, roll the turns, and just wait till that 1 or 2 laps to go before you make your move. It could be another night of C grade glory. Vaughan, if you had to pick a winner for this season's monument, are you going to say at the moment Kurt Eather's unbackable?
He's definitely unbackable.
Yeah.
I reckon he's going to absolutely nail it. I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot of the B-grade boys who have been performing really well, stepping up and just having a crack and racing that extra fast race coming in for the last race of the season. And it's also worth noting, there's some massive names on that trophy race honour roll. You've got Chris Sutton. There's some absolute legends by past the years. I think Liam Kelly won it in 2001 when he was 50, wasn't he, John? In 2001, Liam?
Yeah, well, that was a funny night, that, because it was kind of raining and everyone was deciding whether we should go and race or not. And I remember being in Centennial Park rolling mats before. We were all going to ride down there, hiding under the tree. It was pouring down, and half the guys said, "No, that's it. No, we're all going home." And apparently, some of the guys actually went on down and raced, and Liam being one of them, and that's when he got his victory. But hey, can't take it away
only
from
that
him.
night. There you go.
Can't take it away from him. His name's on the list.
It's on the list.
Yeah, but more importantly, if you look at the honour roll, we've got Kurt Eather from last year, Tommy Bolton from 22. He's going to be back. Kurt Eather from 21. Obviously, again, I hope Crito turns up because he always makes a good go of it. And back in 2019, Jack Bennett. So I'm pretty sure that Jack will be there. And don't forget, Darcy, 2016. So Darcy, looking forward to seeing you there. So in terms of a current crop of riders, I'd expect to see Darcy, Jack, Crito, Kurt, and Tommy Bolton all on the start line.
So it is a big night. I heard rumours there may be some beers and barbecue going on.
Beers,
but of course,
beers and barbecue, definitely. Come on down.
Sizzle.
It's a family night. Bring the family. And weather promises to be good. And it should be a nice finale to the calendar year before we break for Christmas, New Year.
And will it be, before I ask you when we're back, it'll give you a chance to find out when we're back racing in the new year. John, just for a moment for that. It is A and B start first, or the C and B start race. How will the start in case they're running late?
Well, it'll just be, I think A grade will start first, get them out of the way, and then B and C directly behind with a slightly extended gap to the one they had on Tuesday night.
Actually, that does remind me that the A grade race is typically a lap or two longer, isn't it? It's about 20 laps.
20 laps.
So it is a great opportunity for everyone in B and C, once they're finished, get off the track, but then make your way down to the sideline, the finishing line, to watch those closing laps.
That's why we always have such a good crowd shot of that finish. I think in the last number of years, the total number of finishes in the trophy race, usually it's no greater than 12 or 15, depending on the wind conditions. Just to go, it proves how difficult and challenging it is. But something to look forward to. And the other thing to look forward to is this Sunday is the Shimano Supercrit down at Waratah Park, Sullivan, hosted by Southern Cross. I know they've got a big field. Tom Cornish is racing there. I think the Duda boys are coming up from Melbourne. So there's something to look forward to. Aim for the Shimano Supercrit East Trophy Race double.
Trifecta. Or double. You get it hard on Friday night, which is that must be tonight, with a slightly later preview that we're doing of the show here. I think last laps is that pretty much wraps up our espresso edition.
It's Paul Lucas. His side, Will Heffron is sitting behind him. And boy, is Will looking comfortable. I can push this Mill looking up on the left-hand side there. He's probably looking to make a bit of a move as they hit the bell.
So well done to all the riders on the week. Obviously, Kurt Eather, Bradley Mills, and Oliver Ludlam, who were first over the line. Our first B grader, Andre Dubier. Second, Lucas Zaccardi. And third, Riyadh Agnache. Second, C grade, Harvey Challinor, nudged our dad, Anthony Challinor. Third was Joel Schub of Randwick. Women, first place, Kira Will. Second, Nicole Wilson. And third, Caitlin Rose. How nice it is to read out a full podium of women finishers.
Indeed.
With that, anything else? Otherwise, we will wrap this up and start getting excited. Start the caffeine, start the hydration, clean your bike, oil the chain, change your tyres. Otherwise,
see you next Tuesday for the trophy race.
See you next Tuesday for the trophy race.